Hello, my name is Miguel Vargas, and today I'll be talking about the dangers of introducing excess amount of nitrogen in our groundwater. Nitrogen is an abundance element, making around 78% of our Earth's atmospheric mass. Through the process of nitrogen cycle, nitrogen is able to interact with both living and non-living entities, such as air, soil, water, plants, animal, and bacteria. A continuous presence of nitrogen in our water has directly correlated with the ever-presence of blue-green algae. Algae thrives in freshwater lakes and in coastal environments. Excess amount or abnormal flow of nitrogen could alter the environment, which is known as an enrichment or eutrophication. On the screen, I have two geographical maps of Texas pertaining to how and where all bodies of water interact. That between lakes, which flush into rivers, which eventually discharge at our Gulf Coast. Ideally, plants and all vegetations acquire nitrogen as a primary mineral necessity. This is what will help plants grow strong and healthy, giving them flowers and fruits. Most of nitrogen is concentrated in a gaseous state, making it unavailable to animals and all other living things to be used. Through the process of nitrogen fixation, certain bacteria, known as ribosomes, live in a symbiotic relationship with the plant roots, in which these bacteria absorb the N2 particles from the air and produce a nitrogen-based product plants can absorb through their root systems. But plants only require a limited amount of nitrogen produced through this cycle, but due to increasing human population, our agricultural sector heavily relies on this dependency of fertilizers. Farmers use fertilizers to keep up with our demands. Without fertilizers, scientists estimate 1/3 of our products would be non-existent. Fertilizer is made up of NH3 or NH4NO3, both which are produced in large quantities by factories. But too much nitrogen can also lead to toxicity, especially toxicity in plants and the animals who choose to eat them plants. Thus, crops only retain necessary amount of nitrogen to grow. The rest is flushed from the fields by erosion. This is normally seen as precipitation or runoff into nearby waters. Lastly, I would like to talk about this image down here. We will talk about why algae can be harmful to lakes. It is best shown in a chronological order. Number 1, fertilizer is introduced into the crop. Number 2, due to the fact that there's too much, excess tends to seep underground. Eventually, it finds its way to the body of water. This causes algae to exponentially grow due to nutrients of nitrogen. Due to the excessive algae, the upper surface of the lake can no longer interact with the sun rays, ultimately leading to little to no photosynthesis. Plants acquire photosynthesis to make food. The organisms who live in the lake depend on the photosynthesis to make oxygen. Thus, if there is not enough oxygen in the lake, it could no longer sustain life. This is known as the death zone. Now, why does this pertain to us in our topic? Well, Texas has shown to be a new and popular state which is gaining much immigration traction. Increasing economical growth in the tech world has led to a desire to move, especially in this growing hub. It is important to highlight, though, nitrogen pollution does not only pertain to the fertilizer we use, but it also pertains to our cars and our animal manure, that of which could be seen from this graph. As our population increases, the probabilities of people driving and walking their animals has increased also. Due to the infrastructure growth, construction leads to destruction of natural barriers, such as vegetation that helps us buffer our rivers from our toxicity of fertilizers. Lastly, I would like to talk in a big picture of what could happen if we continue to not reduce our use of fertilizers. As you can see here, the big picture is the Gulf Coast becomes polluted. The Gulf Coast is a intercontinental, intercommerce natural resource. Thus, this is a problem that we've all created, but it is important that we all do our small parts to try to reduce it. Now, things that we could do at this moment is help us pick up your own dog pollution because it creates nitrogen, or purchase sustainable. Purchase sustainable meaning there's farmers that sustainably hone their land. Thank you for listening and have a great day.